We move away from what was a very chaotic and full of mayhem race at the Sochi Autodrome, and we move away all the way over to Singapore at the Marina Bay. Welcome along to the Singapore Grand Prix, round 16 of this 24 race championship, and we are here for Formula 2. Singapore, you have 23 corners that make up the first street circuit ever. I mean, not street circuit, sorry. First ever night race of Formula 1. 23 corners, 3 DRS zones, one going into turn 1, the other one going into turn 7, and the other one going into turn 14. We'll see how everyone will get through it today. You've got the, I believe, the not the hypersofts, the super softs, and the medium, I will believe, for the drivers to use for this race. The wet tire is also gonna be considered if we have a wet race here tonight. My name is Miniko, and alongside me is Carbon. Now, we saw, like I said, a very chaotic race back in Russia. Do we expect more of the same, or do you expect a little bit of a leisurely race?
I honestly think that with it being a street circuit and it's a little bit tighter, we're gonna have a little bit more chaos than normal, but I think drivers can keep it clean and keep the cars on track.
Well, hopefully that is the case. Obviously, these walls could bite one mistake, and you are gonna most likely DNF. And, well, if we had the Singapore sling back in what was 2010 and 2008, well, you could probably expect more DNFs. But luckily, we do not have that, and that has been replaced by just a simple left turn. But nonetheless, we can still expect more chaos, as this track is known to have safety cars. But right now, we're just not going to deal with safety cars. Instead, we're going to go through qualifying, which is currently being headed by the Carlin BRL Neymar, in which he is going through the third sector. Let's see what everyone else could do. Unsettled Port, I think, has invalidated yet again. So your championship leader, once again, has invalidated his lap and will start all the way down in P14. That is not the start he wants. But Neymar, through the final 2 corners, can he put that car on pole position here tonight? Yes, he can. A 1:49.0, and that is just under a 10th clear of Alpha Nesis. And I think that is... Oh, wait. Oh, I can't even see anymore. I don't know what car that is. But it is Neymar on pole position, adding 4 points to his championship. That was the MP Motorsport. That's what it was. But Neymar on pole position. Alpha Nesis in second place. Then it's Taylor Klein in third, ahead of Mexena Ferrari in P5. Deer Hunter has returned once again, and he lines up P6 ahead of Debiz. Feta in P8. Yeet Doggo P9. Ardell rounding off the top 10. That's Meanfern, Wah, Joel GP, who's actually debut this race. That's Port, championship leader, down to P14. Days Freak, Ron Swanson, both didn't set a time as they retired immediately.
Yeah, retiring.
Sorry. Go ahead.
Good.
No. You go ahead. I said it first.
Yeah, retiring isn't always the best thing, but if you're trying to get a different strategy, maybe it is. Because we have a wet race.
Oh,
Oh,
I just said it before. I have brought it to life. We have a wet race at Singapore. You think the dry Singapore is tough? Well, things just got a whole lot tougher now. Now, going through the grid though, it is the sprint race, so the top 10, it's actually reversed. So instead, it is BRL Ardell on pole position in the ART ahead of Yeet Doggo. Feta lines up third ahead of DeBees, and there's Deer Hunter in fifth ahead of Ferrari, Max Senna, Taylor Klein, Alphanesis, Neymar down to P10 with the bottom 7? No, bottom 6 staying the same. Mean for an 11th, Bois 12th, Yol 13th, Port 14th, Days Freak P15, and Ron P16. Ron actually did this last week in Russia. He just retired straight off the bat in qualifying, and he still managed to get some points out of that, so we'll see what he can do. Really what anybody can do. There's not entirely sure what to watch out for here. Well, I mean, aside from the obvious here, being championship leader undecided Port in P14, he's going to want to make his way up the grid. Obviously, Singapore, it's a tough track to overtake, and consider the fact that it's wet, it's going to be even tougher. Plus, it's F2, so DRS, even if they had it, which they don't, it's not as powerful. So, this could be one of the most difficult weekends for him if he isn't able to make his way up and try and increase his championship lead. Going through the championship, though, like I said, Port currently leading by 65 points over his teammate, Taylor Klein, who's lining up P8. Ferrari not too far behind with 311 points. He is currently lined up in P6, so we'll have to see what he can do. That's all I can really say for championship standings, because I don't know the rest. Rixian saying, I'm here because Carbon told me to come. You're bringing people now? You're sending in recruits, I see. Going through the third sector now, and I said it was the night race. Well, it still looks kind of bright, but they still have the lights on, which is kind of funny if you think about it. So it's like night race, but not. And surprisingly, no one's been disqualified, which I'm actually amazed. That's usually happened. And also, this was warned about for other drivers where they can't exactly drive chaotically during a formation lap. We had a little bit of that last week, but this time it will definitely not happen by the looks of it. And Ardell, who was one of the ones who did it last week, I usually don't like calling people out like that, but, you know, he kind of was, but he has not done that, and he's going to line up the grid. P1, we'll see what he can do. And in the chat, hi, Phantom. He subscribed for Tier 1 on a 5-month streak. Hi, how you doing? Probably not goated just because of his name. Sure, we'll go with that. Now everyone's lining up on the grid. Ron Swanson in P16, we'll see what he can do. And we'll see what Port can do in P14. He's going to have to make a big charge if he wants to get that win for the sprint race. So now wait for the 5 red lights. They are underway. They're on. It's the lights out. And away we go. A very tentative start for everybody. I think that the Prema has stalled a little bit. That's Ardell keeping ahead of everyone. Yitago losing a position to Feta, who's now moved himself up into P2, and Deer Hunter has now moved up into P3, so some good starts from the Campus and the Dams. Yitago moved down to 4th, ahead to Bees, then Ferrari Nut staying stationary. Taylor Klein moving up positions. Same with Alpha Neesis. This is the yellow flag at the back. I believe that's for Port. Yes, it is! So already drama at the start of this race as Port has been spun round.
yeah, it looks like he doesn't have any damage, but not the best start for Port.
He's going to have to make his way up by quite a margin, and that's another yellow flag. This is the Beast. He has lost an end plate. Has he collided with someone? I don't know, but now he's been relegated down to last place, and Feta has suddenly taken the lead from Ardell. So Feta has made a move and is now into the lead ahead of Ardell. Ardell, though, looking for a move into the Singapore Sling. Not able to do it, but they break really deep, missing the corner. That's going to invite Deer Hunter, and Taylor Klein's moved up a bunch. He's already up to P4 in this race, so it's a massive pace from the UNI Virtuosi. But Feta in the lead from Ardell, Deer Hunter, then Taylor Klein. Ferrari in P5 ahead of Alphanesis, Joel GP in P7, and Neymar in P8. What did I say about Ron, though? P16, he's already up to P9. And meanwhile, there's a move going on for P7 in this race as Neymar has gotten ahead of Joel GP, and that is a yellow flag, and that's Ardell. He has gone off as he broke too late, looks so, and he is pulling him at Javier Ragunathan. Oh, he's lost an end plate, so he must have made contact with someone. Oh, and that's another person in the wall, that's the Bees. That was last second.
Yeah, it looks like as all of that was happening, well, 88 had a little bit of a spin, and now he hit the wall.
Oh. Not the best of times for Bois, but he'll get going as he has not retired from this race. This feels like a very long lap, and indeed it is. As Feta crosses the line with that 2:16. Oh boy, this is going to be a long one. Port has made a move on Meanfern, and that is the battle for P10. Meanfern actually left the session, so if you could try and invite him back, that'd be great. But Port is now up into the top 10, but still not points just yet, as the points are only rewarded to the top 8 in this race. Yellow flag further behind, and that is a virtual safety car because Ardell has lost his front wing. I wonder what's happened there. Oh, and he hits the wall, and he's out. Will that change to a full course safety car is the question. Doesn't look like it. So it'll stay as a virtual. Feta leads the Grand Prix ahead of Deer Hunter. And then Taylor Klein lines up in P3. So the top three competitive drivers, but Taylor Klein's going to be the one to watch out for on this safety car restart, as it kind of looks like they're about to get going. I'm not entirely sure. Or, no. Maybe it's just Taylor Klein getting a bit too impatient there. Let's go over to the position changes. And right now, the biggest mover, Ron Swanson, he started P16. He's up to P8, so I guess starting from the back is a good strategy. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, starting from the back isn't always the worst. You can capitalize on other small mistakes or little incidents that happen.
Oh! Drive-through penalty for Joel GP. That is not what he would have wanted for his debut race, and he has to serve that in the next 3 laps, or else he'll be disqualified. And no one wants to get disqualified, so he's going to have to serve that as soon as possible. UFR Grand, who is actually Ardell saying, rip, no front wing. Yeah, we saw that he didn't have a front wing, but you just decided to understeer, I guess. I don't know what happened there. But we're back racing again. Feta crosses the line, and still that is only 2 laps done. That is only 2 laps. And we still have 10 more. Oh boy. We're going to have some interesting moments here, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, it looks like Feta got an amazing restart and pulled close to a second out on Deer Hunter.
Looks to be so, and Taylor Klein is actually pressurizing Deer Hunter on the back of the dams, trying to get a better exit out of turn 4. Has he done exactly that? He's in the slipstream, pulls out to the right-hand side. Deer Hunter leaves him the space, leaves him the respect. Taylor Klein is now going to try and go around the outside. Little bit of contact. Taylor goes wide, and Deer manages to hold the position for P2. But he slides a little bit on the entry, and that's allowed Taylor Klein to get alongside. Bit of twitches from both the drivers. Taylor Klein trying to go around the outside and gets the move done. Now Farina's coming out of nowhere. Where's Farina come from? He's now overtaking Taylor Glenn. As
Here
moved
comes
up to
Alphanesis.
P3.
Here comes
Alphanesis as well. Deer Hunter really getting caught out by all these drivers, and Alphanesis, has he just about made the move for P4? Yes, he has, but Deer Hunter trying to go around the outside. Alphanesis, though, is just able to stay ahead. What a move from Marina. What a move from Alphanesis. Deer Hunter being overtaken 3 times in the span of, what, like 6 corners?
Yeah, and here goes Neymar down the inside as Deer Hunter runs a little bit wide.
Deer Hunter may be struggling here by the looks of it, and Neymar has now moved himself up into the top 5, in which he got pole position and started 10th for this race. So he's making moves, and now those 4 drivers are going to try and chase after Feta for the lead of this Grand Prix. So who said you couldn't overtake around here? I did. Wait a minute. That's on me. I guess you can overtake. I've been proven wrong by 4 drivers in the span of 6 corners. Lap 3 officially done. Feta sets the fastest lap, but that was quickly taken away by Taylor Glenn in the Unite Virtuosi with a 2:10. Almost at 1:10. That's actually really fast. A 2:10.1. That's quickly taken away by his teammate, Unsighted Port, who sets a 2:09. So Port very much showing the pace in this race. Taylor Glenn really gaining on Feta for the lead of this Grand Prix. Battle for P9 going on right now, though, as Ron Swanson and Mexena are going at it, in which Ron Swanson, give me a better camera angle, thank you. He has seated position, and he has moved down to P10 in this race.
Yeah, it looks like
a wall at one point.
yeah, it looks like going into turn 1, there was maybe a little bit of contact between Mexena and Ron Swanson.
Oh! And there's even more contact as Yeet Doggo hit the back of Ron.
Saw some carbon flying. That, yeah, missing an end plate.
Yeah, so just misjudging Ron's braking into that corner as hit the back of the Trident. Now has lost an end plate. However, that's not super costly though, considering F2. Due to the fact that the downforce of these cars, obviously, it's not as effective because the aerodynamics are a little bit more simplified. So he's not losing that much pace, but it could still be pretty significant in the latter stages. Meanwhile, further up ahead, Unsighted Port has made a move on Joel GP and now moves up into P7. That is a yellow flag, and I think that's for Yeet Doggo. Yes, it is. Getting it all wrong at the hairpin by the looks of it. He manages to keep it going, though. He's going to try and cover up lost time. I thought I went deep for a second there, but no, that was actually a good corner.
Yeah, it looks
Back
like
up for the lead, though. What is going on here? Feta has now been caught by Taylor Clan, Ferrari Nut, Alphanesis, and Neymar. If I were Feta in this situation, I would have no idea what to do. What would you do if you were in Feta's position right now?
If I were Feta right now, I would just honestly drive my cleanest. If it's not fast, I wouldn't worry about it. Just try and keep it on track and capitalize on whatever happens.
Yeah, we'll just have to wait and see. Obviously, Feta just trying to stay ahead. Joel GP has served his drive-through, so that has relegated him down all the way to P12, possibly even P13. Feta, though, still under pressure from Taylor Clan, and Taylor Clan not able to make a move just yet. The traction of Feta getting the best of him. I just said traction, and then he loses the rear and goes deep and nearly hits the wall. But that's going to invite Taylor Clan to try to go around the outside. Feta has a little bit of a moment, and that's going to allow Taylor to possibly go for the switchback. Yes, he is. And then they're now going wheel to wheel down to the Singapore Sling. Taylor Clan has the inside. Little bit of shoving as Feta is shoved wide. But Taylor Clan doesn't get the move done. Oh, this contact. And Feta's been spun round. So Taylor and Feta making contact, and Feta getting the worst of it.
Yeah, and it looks like while all that was going on, Unsighted Port 1 got past Deer Hunter, and it's now up into P5.
You're right, he has. And he is going to try and chase after the 4 that were stuck behind Feta, and he is not that far behind. That is tremendous pace from Unsighted Port as of right now. He set the fastest lap earlier. The yellow flag at the back, is that for Max Senna? Yes, it is. And now Ron Swanson has gotten through him, as has Mean Fern. I think he's trying to go around the outside, backs out of it.
Yeah,
Max Senna have any damage? Yes, he does.
Looks like DeBees might have had a spin. That cost him some time as well.
Still has a front wing, though, luckily. So Taylor Clan now leads the Grand Prix ahead of Florina, Alphanesis, Neymar, and Unsighted Port, who sets the fastest lap yet again with a 2-minute 8.0, in which currently right now, that's a second faster than the next guy. That is insane. That's your championship leader, everyone. Damn. 1.6 seconds between Taylor Clan and Ferrari Nut. And then it's a bit tight between Ferrari Nut and Alphanesis, around 5/10 between the two, as Max Senna is into the pits to probably change his front wing. Lap 6 of 12. We're not even done halfway. They're driving as hard as they can, but it just seems so slow.
Yeah, and it looks like Taylor Clan is really doing good in the wet, pulling already a 2-second gap to Ferrari Nut, as Ferrari Nut runs a little bit wide. Alphanesis
that's
gets
allowed,
through.
Alphanesis. Yeah. Alphanesis has now gotten ahead of Ferrari Nut and moves up into P2 in this race. I thought Alphanesis had a bit of a moment there for a second, but it looks like he manages to keep the car under control. And that's a yellow flag, and is that for Max Senna? Yes, it is. It's spun off at the exit of turn 3. And that has not gone well for him. Still has a front wing, luckily, but he is relegated down to P14 in this race out of 15 drivers. Oh! Ferrari Nut, a 3-second time penalty. That is the first time penalty of the race, and that is certainly not going to help him, especially since Neymar and Port are all over the back of him. And Ferrari Nut losing touch a little bit of Alphanesis. Alphanesis is actually flying away from him, but Taylor Clan's also flying away from Alphanesis. So Taylor Clan really moving, as you said.
Yeah, I think Taylor might have actually done some wet practice. He's ready for these conditions.
We set a 2-minute 8.1, which is just under a 10th. Oh! 3-second time penalty now for Unsighted Port. He got that at turn 2, and that is going to hurt his race, especially since he's fighting for what would be a podium in this race. And right now, that podium is not entirely happening. Move further back, though, as I think Ron Swanson and Meanford are going at it. Yes, they are. Ron Swanson having the inside. Ron Swanson at the outside, and is unfortunately shoved out by Meanford and has to slot behind for P8 in this race. The singular points battle this is, as of right now. Meanford currently holding that as of right now. Oh, Ron Swanson loses the rear. Tried to go for the dummy on the exit and has hit the wall and lost a huge chunk of his front wing. It was almost like an AI. Huh. Hold on, that happened. Neymar still all over the back of Ferrari Nut.
Yeah, and it looks like Port's coming up on Neymar.
Yeah, but he's just not able to
Sets
make
up for a move
just yet. Oh! I was on board with Neymar, so I didn't see what happened there. But Port possibly getting a little impatient in this race.
I think
he's trying to get...
I think he might have missed his...
damage? He might have, yes. He might have.
I think Port might have missed his breaking point and just tried to make the move work on Neymar. He was a little bit too far back.
Yeah, now obviously Neymar, knowing that he has the position going into the corner, he just had none of it. And we'll just stay ahead in P4. Alphanesis now sets the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. Is the first man into the 2-minute 7s. So there you go. And I believe that is brought into the pits. Yes, it is, as he's now been lapped in this race. But Alphanesis now trying to chase down Taylor Clan.
Yeah, it looks like Alpha's already gained
Yes.
0.7 of a second on Taylor.
Alphanesis, he showed his pace last week in Russia, got a podium in both those races, and once again he is showing what he could do in Formula 2. Currently chasing down Taylor Clan in this race to go for the lead of this Grand Prix. Lap 8 of 12, that's 5 laps left to go, and who knows, can he catch him? But can he pass him? That's the question. You can catch someone on a street circuit, but passing, doable? Yellow flag, I believe that is for Bois getting out of the way of the two Trident drivers currently lined up in P10 and P11 in this race. And they're actually possibly having a little bit of a battle by the looks of it. Yes, they are actually, as Ron Swanson lets him by with that front wing damage. So Ron Swanson, and Joel goes deep. And, well, he still manages to stay ahead. It doesn't hit the wall. Oh, I need a drink. Hang on a minute. Not that this is stressful, it's just I need something to keep me awake. Alright, we're good now. Yellow flag. That's for Feta. A little bit of excitement going on there. Feta has spun round. Hasn't lost a place by the looks of it. But has now lost a chunk of time to Deer Hunter. Someone who's taking chunks away from their lead is Alphanesis, as it says the fastest lap once again with the 2 minutes 7.5. Does Dunside Port beat it? No, he doesn't. So Alphanesis, as of right now, currently the fastest driver. But if he is able to catch Taylor, passing him is going to be a whole nother level. We'll just have to see how that boils over. Someone who's also trying to get past is Neymar on Ferrari Nut, in which Neymar, I think he's got a decent exit out of turn 4 and is on the back of Ferrari Nut, but due to the fact that they do not have the DRS, is just not able to make a move just yet, and we'll just have to stay behind.
Yeah, it looks like
Neymar looking
Neymar.
super late.
Yeah, it looks like Neymar is just trying to keep it consistent and gain as much time as he can on Ferrari Nut.
Yeah, and obviously Neymar, he's sticking to the dry line as he knows that's where the most grip is going to be. And he knows that he's trying to brake super late, try and gain time on Ferrari Nut. Ferrari Nut struggling a little bit still by the looks of it. And Neymar is just looking for an opportunity to send it down the inside of Ferrari Nut. Though he actually has a little bit of a look around the outside. Nothing doing there. Ferrari Nut get a little bit squirrely on the exit. This could be Neymar's chance right here, as it looks like Ferrari Nut trying to defend the inside. Neymar gonna try and go around the outside. Can he make the move stick? Little bit of contact between the two. Neymar gets shoved wide. Does he get ahead though? Yes, he does. Neymar's opportunity, and he took it, and is now out to P3.
It looks like Ferrari Nut isn't done battling though. He's gonna try and maybe make a move here in the next couple of corners.
Possibly. We'll just have to wait and see. So this battle may not be done yet. We'll just have to see if Ferrari Nut can possibly do anything to Neymar. But we know Neymar has the pace. He's set pole position in qualifying. If Neymar is able to pull away, then that'll be his chance. No, I think Neymar actually went a little bit deep there. And now that's Ferrari Nut's opportunity to try and go around the outside into turn 1. Neymar, though, with the late braking, stays ahead. Neymar going really late on the brakes there to defend that. Oh! Alphanesis now has a 3-second time penalty. And that is going to give Taylor a little bit of breathing space. Yellow flag. Who's that for? Is that for Ron? Yes, it is. He's gone off right before the... Well, I would say bridge, but honestly, I don't even know what to call it. Manages to keep it going, though. Possibly too late on the brakes. and just sailed past where the corner was, needless to say. But he still keeps it going. And I think that front wing damage is certainly not helping him.
Yeah, it looks like Ferrari Nut and Neymar are staying pretty close to each other, never really leaving 4/10s. Just equal on pace and both trying to find time and make moves.
Yeah, by the looks of it, though, Neymar does have the traction in relation to Ferrari Nut, but Ferrari Nut, he was struggling in the clean air, but in the dirty air, it seems like he's going well. Vettel got a 3-second time penalty for exceeding track limits. That's his first 3-second. Ferrari Nut getting a little bit loose there, by the looks of it. And looking over at the conditions in Sector 3, they look a lot worse than the other sectors, which is weird, because it's not even raining that much. So that's a little interesting what's going on there. It just doesn't look beautiful.
Yeah, and his DeBees passes Ron Swanson.
Yes, he has. Battle for P12, and DeBees comes off on the top, and now moves up into P12 in this race. If he's able to catch DeBees, he needs to catch around 6 seconds. Or 7 seconds, 8 seconds, whatever you want to call it. Points now says the fastest lap of the Grand Prix, narrowly beating Alpha Nisa's lap time. And Taylor Klein's got a 3-second time penalty. So there we go. That buffer's gone. And to Alpha Nisa's, I think Taylor Klein made a mistake there. Alpha Nisa's now leads the Grand Prix. But they both have a 3-second time penalty. And Neymar, he could potentially win this if he stays within the 3 seconds of Alpha Nisa's. Right now, looking at it, he's 2 seconds within it. So right now, he could effectively win this Grand Prix. Taylor Klein goes deep and now loses 2 positions. What is happening to Taylor Klein? Does he have damage? What has gone on to you and I Virtuosi?
Puncture. Front right puncture.
Oh! Okay, new factor. Could tire wear effectively be the case of who wins this Grand Prix? Or did he run over debris? Nonetheless, Taylor Clan, pour your heart out, because that is just absolutely heart-wrenching for the Virtuosi. He was leading this Grand Prix. He was looking comfortable, despite having Alpha Nisa's behind him, but now with a puncture and a 3-second time penalty, it's gone from bad to worse for Taylor Clan. Alpha Nisa's now leads. Neymar, though, he just needs to stay within the 3 seconds of Alpha Nisa's, and he is winning this Grand Prix. The man who got pole position in qualifying and was reversed down to 10th for the sprint race could win this Grand Prix.
Yeah, and I wouldn't exactly rule out Alpha Nisa's yet. His one that pace is pretty good, and he could still pull about half a second to win this race.
You're right. Right,
He sets another fastest lap.
lap.
The 207.4.
5/10 is what Alpha Nisa's needs to gain on Neymar. All Neymar needs to do is stay within that, and he is golden. It's now increased to 2.6, 2.7. DRS has been enabled, so the track has started to dry. What does that do in relation to everyone else, though?
Ferrari Nut
Ferrari
has
Nut.
DRS.
He does. You're right. Ferrari Nut now going to try and make an overtake on Neymar, but he's not able to make the moves just yet, but he sets a purple sector 1. So so who knows what's going to happen at the end of this Grand Prix. Taylor Klein hasn't pitted, by the way. Can I just note that real quick? He hasn't pitted. He's still on a puncture.
Yeah, if he can keep Deer Hunter
Oh, that's hard to
behind.
do.
Yeah, especially on a puncture, and Deer doesn't have any penalties.
No, he doesn't. That's Deer now up at the P5 in this race. Going back over to the lead of this Grand Prix now. 2.8, 2.9. It's flickering within that range. Alpha Nisa's, he just needs to nail the 3rd sector, and he could win this Grand Prix. But Neymar, he is just within the fringes of that 3 seconds. So it's down to this last sector. Can Alpha Nisa's manage to pull around just over 3/10 ahead of Neymar. Max Senna gets a 3-second time penalty. We're focused on the 3-second time penalty right now that the leader has going through the last 4 corners, but I think no 5 corners. As that's a yellow flag, I believe that's for Yeet. He has gone off. Alpha Nisus though, 2.8, 2.9. It's gonna be really close. He needs to nail 3 seconds. It's super tight between the two. Alpha Nisus, he's gonna come across the line. That's the fastest lap. Neymar, does he get it? 79 thousandths. Misses out. Alpha Nisus wins a very long and very wet Singapore Grand Prix in the sprint race. Neymar grabs P2. Ferrari grabs the 3rd spot on the podium. Unsighted port, P14 to P4.
Yeah, and it looks like Feta Cheese. Drive. It looks like Feta and Taylor came together right before the line, because I looked over and there they are, just sideways in the wall with damage.
Yeah, it looks to be so. Deer Hunter finishes P5. Taylor Klein with that puncture still finishes in P6, so he still grabs, I think, 4 points? Yeah, 4 points in this race. Feta in P7. Meanfern rounding off the top 8, getting a singular point in this race.
And it looks
Doggo, who doesn't have a front wing, finishes in P9.
And it looks like he picked up a puncture somewhere, so maybe he lost his wing and...
Actually, wait, hold on a minute. Hold on, I need to look at something. Alpha Nisus, he's fine. Neymar, fine. Marina, fine. Same with Port. Deer, he's fine. Taylor Klein got a puncture. Feta, good. Meanfern, he's alright. Doggo got a puncture. Joel got a puncture. Who else got a puncture? DeVries? No. Maxena? No. Ron? No. Dace Freak? No. Bois? No. A couple people got punctures. That is very interesting. I think that's wear related. That has to be.
And I think all the people that got punctures didn't stop. Because Joel didn't stop. Eat Doggo didn't stop. Taylor didn't stop. So yeah, I think it was just tire wear playing a factor in this.
I'm gonna ask them and see if that was wear related. Asking them the question now. I think I missed it, but I think it was Unsighted Port who got driver of the day, if I'm not mistaken. Confirmation, they very much were related, but nonetheless, that is not what that is inevitably what won the Grand Prix for Alpha Nisus, just winning ahead of Neymar and Farina once again with another podium in this race. And well, I didn't expect punctures, if I'm being honest, but hey, we'll take it.
Yeah, you gotta expect the unexpected, especially around street circuits.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we didn't expect a puncture from Lance Stroll and Max Verstappen in the Azerbaijan Grand Prix in 2021, yet that happened. And that is exactly what's happened today, as if nobody's massively hit a wall. But that is the sprint race here for tonight. But be sure to tune in just real soon, like minutes, as we're about to get underway for the feature race. Alpha Nisus wins. Neymar in P2. They lined up 9th and 10th. They finished first and second. Ferrari Nut finishes in P3. Unsighted Port, P14 to P4. Deer Hunter, P5 ahead of Taylor Clan. Feta, Meanfern rounding off the points paying positions. Yeet Doggo, Joel GP, DeBees, Max Senna, Ron Swanson, Days Freak, and Bois rounding off the top 15. Ardell, the only DNF in this race. Oh, we have more of it. Lovely.
Back-to-back wet races. That's always fun.
We're gonna be here a while. Well, needless to say, it will most likely still bring some entertainment, but no, but the looks of it, it seems like the weather this time around a little bit heavier, perhaps? It's kind of hard to tell.
Yeah, it's hard
Nonetheless,
to
though,
tell.
they'll still be on the wets.
Yeah. Will we see DRS come into play in the last few laps again?
That didn't really even play a factor for the overtakes, so it didn't really matter if it happened or not. But nonetheless, though, I called it. I said before that we're looking at 17 laps of the feature race. I didn't say it on stream, but I said it before this race. Possibly 17 laps for the feature race, and, well, I was nail just pounded in right there. Because I got exactly that. But, let's go through the starting grid now. Neymar on pole position ahead of Alphanesis. They were 1 and 2 in the sprint race. They definitely had the pace, but the question is, do they have the consistency to keep that form going? That is Taylor Clan in P3, Max Senna in P4 ahead of Ferrari. Deer Hunter lines up P6 ahead of DeBees. Vetta in 8th ahead of Vitago. Ardell rounding off the top 10. That's Mean Fern in P11 ahead of Bois in P12. Joel GP P13 on site of Port. Lowly P14, as he did not set a lap time in qualifying. Days Freak, P15, and Ron Swanson starting at the back once again. And that worked out for him last time, so we'll definitely have to watch out for that.
Yeah, and will we be able to see Port make another climb through the field? Maybe this time even take a podium, or maybe even the win.
He's got 5 more laps to do so. So we'll just have to see, well, 5 laps? Yeah, 5 laps to manage that. But that doesn't mean it's going to be any less difficult, as overtaking, as said before, is still hard. Especially at a track like this, where DRS isn't as effective, and in the wet, you don't have DRS, and it's hard to overtake an F2 car's period. So that is going to be a difficult ask for him if he can possibly get a podium, nonetheless a win.
Yeah, really, to make overtakes in F2 cars in any condition, you just have to lick the stamp and send it.
Which is exactly what Neymar did around the outside of Ferrari Nut, and he managed to get that move done. So we'll have to see if Port can try and mitigate that. But we're about to end the formation lap. This time the formation lap was a lot quicker this time around, and I thought the rain stopped for a second. Okay, I think I'm going crazy now. The Bees has been disqualified. That's not what he wants.
So this time around, does the rain maybe a little bit lighter?
I feel like it's more heavier. Like, I feel like it's heavier. I could be wrong, though. We'll just have to wait and see. Everyone now starting to line up on the grid. Neymar on pole position. Alphanesis rounding off the front row as we now wait for Ron Swanson to line up P16 in this race. Actually, we're not even waiting for him. We are waiting for Joel GP to line up in his grid slot, P13. As we get underway, 17 laps of torture. I'm kidding. 17 laps of 2-minute lap times. That's what I'll say. I signed up for this. Driver lights are on. Lights out, and away we go. Once again, it's a tentative start, but everyone seems to get off the line better off this time around. And Neymar leads into the first corner. Max Senna dives it on the inside of Taylor Clan. The Alphanesis, I think he's bogged down the start. He's all the way down to P6. Taylor Clan was around the outside, and now Taylor Clan is up into P2. Max Senna in P3 ahead of Ferrari Deer Hunter, Alphanesis, Ardell, Feta, Joel GP, Mean Fern, then is unsighted Port, who's actually made two moves there and is already up into P10 in this race. So that's a good start from the Unite Virtuosi driver. I saw a yellow flag, but I'm not entirely sure what that was, as Joel GP gets ahead of Ardell and Feta. Though Ardell looking to dive it on the inside, and Joel GP trying to go around the outside. They get shoved wide, and that's going to allow unsighted Port to now move up into P7. So mistakes are being made, and Port making the most of it. Feta now gets ahead of Joel GP for P8, but Neymar now already 1.4 ahead of Taylor Clan in this race. Ferrari Nut made his way up into P3. Mexena now down into P4 under pressure from Deer Hunter. And then Alpha Nisus not that far behind. And then it's unsided Port, Feta, Joel GB, and Mean Fern rounding off the top 10.
Yeah, an unsighted Port is already up 7 positions in the span of a sector and a half.
Wow. He is making those moves count in this race. We'll just have to be wary, though, of if he gets a puncture, because you do not have to pit, theoretically, if it's wet conditions. We've seen it many times before in Formula 1, and that will most likely be the same as... Oh, that's a slide! I think it's with Joel. Yes, it is. Blocking the rears and sliding off into the barriers. But doesn't have front wing damage, but is now down into P13 in this race. I caught a glimpse of that. Basically went over the camera that I was on board with. Oh, and it hits the wall again, so he's starting to struggle a little bit. Neymar, though, leads the first lap. Taylor Clan, P2. Ferrari Nut, P3. Mexena, P4. Deer Hunter rounding off the top 5 in this race. Neymar with a 1.5 second gap to Taylor Clan behind, so he is definitely making a move on in this Grand Prix.
Yellow flag,
that's for Ardell.
3. Ardell's out
that's
again.
Ardell before the line. That's right before the line. Could possibly hit the wall on the exit, and he has once again begun the first retiree in this race. That's a yellow flag. That's another yellow flag because Bosman spun around. No safety car, though, luckily.
Yeah, I think coming out of turn 2, Bois just got on the throttle a little bit too quick and unfortunately lost the rear.
Could be the case, but he'll still manage to keep going in this race. Neymar now with a 1.7 second lead. Unsighted Port now has already got onto the back of Deer Hunter. Alphanesis is now on the back of Deer Hunter as well. And he's going to try and make a move for P5 in this race. He had a little bit of a look on the exit of the Singapore Sling. Nothing doing. Yellow flag, I believe that's for DeBees in this race. He's now been relegated down to P13 as Joel GB gets past him. Alphanesis trying to have a look.
Here goes Port.
Oh yeah, you're right. I thought there was contact, and I was right on that. And now Port gonna try to go around the outside. Remember when I said that Neymar did this at Ferrari Nut? Well, Port has just done the same, and Port now moves up into P6. So in the span of less than 2 laps, P14 to P6. I think the main difference as to why he's already made up all these positions, on the first lap at the sprint race, he got spun round. This isn't the case this time.
Yeah.
Yellow flag, is that for Joel? Yes, it is. I think the Bees has gone off. Yes, he has. Braking proving tricky for those. Neymar now sets the fastest lap with a 2-minute 8.6 and is currently 2 seconds already ahead of Neymar. Basically, I mean, not ahead of Neymar, ahead of Taylor. Duh. I'm not so smart. I think Unsighted Port is having a little bit of a look on Deer Hunter. Not quite, but now Alphanese is trying to go for the switchback on the exit of turn 3. Does he have the better traction to Port? No, he doesn't. And Port will just stay ahead.
And it looks like there's a little bit of a train from P4 all the way down to P7. They're just all staying pretty close together.
Yeah, obviously Mexena is the one who is leading this, who qualified well. He qualified right where he is in P4, and he's currently staying in that position, though he's losing quite a lot of time to the top 3 as the Beast has retired from the session. Is that in the pits? Looks like it. Outside Port trying to go around the outside into the Singapore Sling. Now goes for the switchback on Deer Hunter. Does he get the move done? Deer Hunter, little bit of contact between the two. Outside of Port just has to slot behind for now. Though, can he possibly go for a move here? He sets on the inside, contact between the two. Outside of Port, though, getting the rotation done. And now Outside of Port is up to P5. And Deer Hunter has now been overtaken by Alphanesis. Alphanesis now trying to go around the outside of Outside of Port.
Oh!
And that's contact between Alphanesis and Deer. So Deer braking a little bit too late, hitting the back of Alphanesis, and that has cost him to possibly make a move on port. And now we'll just have to stay in P6, port up to P5.
Yeah, and it looks like all this battling has maybe let Feta gain some time. So now he's on the back of Deer Hunter.
We'll have to see if Feta can make a move in this Grand Prix on for P6 P7. I'm saying P6 a lot because Alphanesis and Port and Deer Hunter. But he's gonna see, and we'll see if he can possibly make a move on Deer Hunter. Here comes Port on Senna. P7. Oh!
Port on Max Senna.
On the inside, down into turn 1, late braking for unsighted Port, and clears Mexena into turn 2 and turn 3, and that looked like an easy move. I think Mexena, I think that might have been contact, I'm not entirely sure. Now Alphanesis, that is now alongside Mexena. Can he possibly go around the outside? No, he doesn't. He's left behind for the time being. Possibly go for a switchback on the exit turn 4. Yes, he has. He has gone for it. They're now going wheel to wheel down into turn 5. And he will have the outside. Mexena will have the inside. Mexena dives it, but Alphanesis is trying to go around the outside. Goes a little bit too deep onto the curb. Still managing to stay alongside. And Alphanesis, does he get the move done? Yes, he does. And he now moves himself up into P5. And there's a little bit of a battle going on between Feta and Deer Hunter. Feta dives it on the inside of Deer Hunter. And could that be a Deer Hunter on the wall? Not quite. It is very close, though. Now Feta has moved up into P7. Close racing, but still fair. Wow. This is already more exciting than the sprint race.
Yeah.
Deer Hunter, though, diving it back on the inside. Is that contact between the two? I am not entirely sure. That is still staying ahead, though. That looked very close. Speaking of close, Ferrarina is all over the back of Taylor Clan, as Taylor Clan has lost a lot of time from Neymar. 4 seconds between the two as it stands. Ferrarina trying to find a way to make a move on Taylor Clan in this race for P2, but he has to be careful to not get a time penalty as he did before. Taylor Clan looking like he's struggling a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, Neymar, just looking at the fastest laps, Neymar is pretty much a little more than a second faster than Taylor.
A little bit more of a second faster than everybody.
Yeah.
So Neymar clearly setting the pace in this race. I have to watch out though, because oh, Ferrarina goes around the outside of Taylor Clan. I think Taylor just went let him by, and now Ferrarina's up into P2. That had to be him letting him by, because that was.
I think Taylor's an AI.
Is he? From the back. Yes, he is. Oh, well, he's back now. Maybe he had the wheel glitch.
Yeah.
The infamous wheel glitch. It always hits someone at some point. And, well, it's happened to Taylor Clan.
Yeah, controller players really don't have that issue.
Well, yeah, because we're on controller. Duh. That's pretty much stating the obvious. We move. But, yeah, now Ferrari now into P2 in this race is going to try and chase after Neymar. 5 seconds between himself and the Carlin driver. That is a very tough ask, especially around Singapore, where it's wet, first off, but also it's a big gap in relation to Formula 1. I mean, it's a big gap no matter what, so what am I saying? So far, the only battle is going. Well, I mean, there's not really any battles that are going on right now. But Alphanesis is still sticking closely to the back of unsighted port for P4 in this race. Both of these guys are trying to chase after Taylor Clan for P3. I think unsighted port might have made a bit of a mistake there. Either he went deep, or maybe that's just his line. I don't know, but he is slowly gaining on his teammate. But 6 seconds, still a very, very big gap, and Alphanesis on the back of unsighted port. Oh! Traction loss for Alphanesis. Manages to keep it out of the wall, though. That was really close. But he just manages to keep it out. So, well, good save.
It looks like...
It's a moment again.
Yeah, it looks like Alphanesis might be just trying to slot in and not lose traction.
Yeah, pretty much. And, well, he hasn't fully lost traction. And, well, he has made some pretty good saves already. And it's still sticking onto the back of Port. In which Port, I wouldn't say... well, I mean, he's not entirely gaining, actually, on Taylor Glenn. So the top three are just on another level as of right now.
Yeah, in the last, what, 5.5 laps, Neymar's pulled a 5.4 second gap to P2. He's just flying out there in these conditions.
I would say he's on cruise control, but it's not exactly that because he's still pulling a gap. But yeah, Neymar definitely showing the pace in this race. He sets a purple sector 2. He's a 10th up on his best lap time, which is the fastest lap time of the race. So Neymar very much showing what he can do in conditions like this. And well, nearly 6 seconds ahead. He started from pole, let's not forget. So he is just on another level by the looks of it. He wants redemption. He wants redemption from the sprint race.
Yeah, I think all along Neymar really just had the pace, but was caught in traffic and couldn't really show us.
Possibly. They set the fastest lap of the Grand Prix, half a second faster than his previous lap time, so he wanted to show his pace. Well, there you go. He's showing it now. Alphanesis is still closing onto the back of unsighted port for P4. I mean, I say he's closing, but it's kind of staying stationary as of right now.
Yeah, it's fluctuating between 5 and 6 tenths. So not really much change, but...
No.
Oh, Deer Hunter
heat
makes
up,
a little
though,
bit of
between
a
the two
mistake.
Tridents. Joel GP has now made a move on Ron Swanson for P11 in this Grand Prix. Ron Swanson going to try and stick onto the back of Joel, since the fact that he has that 3-second time penalty for exceeding track limits. Is the only man with a 3-second time penalty as it stands. That can all change, though, as we saw a bunch of drivers, specifically up at the top, getting time penalties. So that is not something to just shrug off. Taylor Clan possibly clawing a little bit of pace back in this race, is now going to try and get onto the back of not Taylor Clan. Duh, I need to read more. Ferrari Nut, as he sets a purple sector 2. So there you go. Championship rival of unsighted Port right now, currently setting the pace in this Grand Prix, as Port not gaining, interestingly, on his teammates. So that is detrimental to unsighted Port's race, as consider the fact that Taylor Clan would have outscored him. Oh, actually, no, he wouldn't have outscored him twice. Would outscore him once, but this time it's more significant since the points-paying positions are higher. As Taylor Clan slides out of the penultimate corner. It's a good save. Going over to the fastest lap, Taylor Clan just recently set the second fastest lap time of the race, or no, the third fastest lap time of this race as unsighted Port sets a 2:07.7, and an Alphanesis just slotting in to the 2:07s with a .955. So right now, the top 5 are the ones setting the pace, and it looked like Marina was breaking the toe a little bit.
Yeah, it looks like all of the front runners are within about a second of each other.
Can I just know something, though, real quick? The rain has lessened a little bit.
It has.
Can we possibly see at the end of this race, as it was in the sprint race, can we possibly see another dry end to this Grand Prix? Certainly be something to watch out for, that's for sure.
Yeah, it definitely looked like the wetness on the track has gone down, but that could just be drivers making the dry line, or the track drying
Quite possibly. Could be a case of both, to be honest.
Yeah.
So obviously the drivers are going through. They're going through this for all 17 of these laps. The rain starting to lessen. The track starting to dry up a little bit, but it is still raining, so it's not perfectly dry. Things to watch out for. Lap 8 of 17 in this Grand Prix. Let's not forget, though, we had 3 people in the sprint race get a puncture. That was Yeet Doggo, Joel, and Taylor Clan. Yellow flag. Is that for Feta? Yes, it is. Something has happened to the Campos driver and has now lost position to Deer Hunter for P7. And now Yeet Doggo is going to possibly try and catch up to Feta for P8.
It's Neymar sets a new fastest lap. First man into the 6s with a 2:06.9 DRS.
DRS enabled. There you go. Need a little bit of spice. Well, there it is. So Taylor Clan now has DRS of Florida halfway through this Grand Prix, and things have changed dramatically, so the track is drying. Well, looking on board with Taylor right now, there's no spray. There is no spray coming off of the back of Ferrari Nut.
Could we see drivers? Could we see drivers start pitting for dries in the next couple laps?
We could, to be honest, at the track. I mean, DRS has been enabled, so you would assume, by that logic, the dries could possibly be quicker in this race. The track, though, still looks greasy, but it could be possibly the time for dries now. Huge change as Ferrari gets a huge snap on the rear, gets another snap again. Taylor Clan gonna try and possibly make a move with the DRS now that that's available. They finally have it this time around, but he's not able to make the move just yet as Days Freak and Bois are into the pits. What did they go on? Are those are softs. Are those softs? Yes, it is. Days Freak is on the soft compounded tire. What does Bois go on? He's on the softs as well. So there you have it. The dries are now here. They're now here. Possibly less than under 2 minutes. 2-minute lap times, please.
Neymar's in. Neymar's in.
There you have it.
Ferrari Nut's in.
So
Taylor's in. Port's staying out. Alphanesis is in.
Oh, the track is definitely dry now. Looking on board with Port, yeah, it's dry.
Yeah.
It is bone dry.
Yeah,
Yellow flag for the back. I believe that is for Joel. Yeah, everyone is... Look at that. Everyone now on the soft compounded tire. So... That is going to cost inside of Port.
Yeah, so
and
far...
Deer Hunter. Deer Hunter hasn't pitted.
So far, the only people to not pit are Deer and Port. Because nobody else has come to the line yet. I think Ron's in this lap. Joel's in this lap. Then
Yeah, Days Freak and Bois have already pitted, so...
Everyone except for Port and
Port
Deer are onto the soft compound of tire.
It's understandable for Port, though, due to the fact that Taylor was ahead. So ideally, he was able to pit because of the fact that since he was ahead, he can easily make the call. It's like, right, I'm pitting first. And that's exactly what he's done. And Unside of Port had to stay out. Deer Hunter could have pitted, but he didn't. And right now, that is not the right way to go, as if you look at Neymar, the difference between him and Port right now, it was 13 seconds last time I looked. It's now under 10. soft compounded tire is now the fastest tire in this race. So there you have it. I was hoping we'd get some dry running at least.
Yeah.
Oh, we got a little bit of a gamble going on right now as Joel's gone onto the super soft. Not sure if those will make it, but we'll just have to wait and see. Yellow flag, that's for Taylor Clan. Oh,
Taylor and
contact between
Alpha.
him and Alpha Nesis. That was contact between the two. Taylor Clan now has front wing damage. So what has happened to the UNI Virtuosi driver?
So Port is in. Deer Hunter hit. I can't. Yeah, Deer's in. I don't see why he wouldn't pit.
He wanted to go in, but Alpha Nesis obviously was on the left-hand side, so he couldn't do much. Outside of Port's on the super soft. That is interesting there. So outside of Port deciding that the super soft can make it in this race. E-Doggo gets a 3-second time penalty. The top four. But okay, the top two stay the same. Neymar now has 12 seconds ahead of Ferrari now. He's doubled his gap.
Yeah, and Deer goes on to the super softs too.
Maybe they think they can make it. We'll just have to wait and see how that pans out. Onside of Port now makes a move on to Yeet Doggo with DRS down the straight, and now he is up into P7 on the super soft compounded tire. Is going to try and chase after Feta. But was it? I'm just amazed though, but that the gap between Ferrari Nut and Neymar. Obviously, Ferrari Nut, he was caught up on the back of Deer Hunter, who didn't pit yet, and because of that, he has lost a lot of time. As of right now, Neymar is just clear, as Days Freak sets the fast lap of the Grand Prix with a 2-minute 2, but that is definitely going to change because Neymar is flying. I expect to see a 1-minute 53. I would say 1 minute 53. That's my guess.
I'm gonna go with
Comes around the final
52.
corner.
Oh,
I take that. 1 minute 53. That is the fastest lap now for Neymar. That was actually super close, actually, to be fair. 300s between
52.
52. Oh, right. Well, okay. So Alpha Nesis has the fastest lap now with a 1 minute 52. But I said Neymar.
Yeah.
So I was still right. I was still right, but Alpha Nesis obviously had better traction due to the fact that the track is obviously getting more grip because Neymar is obviously out in front. But obviously everyone else is on the slicks. But Alpha Nesis now sets the fastest lap with a 1 minute 52.3. Oh, Port making a move on Feta now, trying to go around the outside. The sun's come out, so there you go. That's how you know the track condition.
Contact.
That was contact. You're right, that was contact. And Port doesn't have DRS, so Port did not get DRS off of Feta. But could he possibly make a move round the outside? He pulls out to the right-hand side, late braking for the United Virtuosi driver with a little bit of contact, but good move from outside of Port, and he makes his way up into P6. He has a long ways to go, though, to try and catch up to Mexena, as Joel GP now sets the fastest lap of the Grand Prix with a 1 minute 52. He's also on the super softs. Lap 12 of 17, and now things are definitely going to get a lot quicker now. I can actually, like, you know, not bore myself. Thank God. Raptor's now joined the session. Hi, Raptor. This is an F2 race, bud. That is left on. Man. He could have stayed. That would have been nice.
Neymar goes 6/10 up on his time, but that's not a fastest lap. Just missing out by about 4/10 is Ferrari Nut.
There it is.
52-0.
Well, the track is definitely ramping up, I can tell you that much.
Yeah,
The sun's out. The rain is gone. There's no sign of it being greasy anywhere. So, I think we can safely say that it's definitely time to dry, as Port's going to come across the line doesn't set a fastest lap, surprisingly. Then again, he had to make an overtake, so we'll just have to wait and see. Feta got a 3-second time penalty. Yellow flag, I believe that's for Bois being lapped as he pulls out of the way of the leaders in this Grand Prix. Currently still sitting in P14. It's not been his day in this race, but he's still running. I mean, he still beats Ardell and DeBees in this race. But just last of the runners in this Grand Prix. Going back over, I'm not really seeing much of any battles as of right now. Still, everyone's evenly spread out. Joel now says the fastest lap. Oh, I mean, not the fastest lap. Gets a 3-second time penalty. What am I saying? Gets a 3-second time penalty for exceeding track limits. I believe that is a second time penalty. Yes, it is. Going over to position changes now. Right now, the biggest mover as of right now is unsighted port in P6. He's moved up 8 positions in this race, and he can still possibly gain one more place in this Grand Prix if he can catch up to Max Senna. 5 seconds between him and the ART. We'll just have to see if that will change anytime soon. The question is, who's gonna grab the fastest lap this time around? Is Neymar gonna grab it? Is Neymar gonna grab it this time around, or will it be someone else? Neymar comes across the line. Is not the fastest lap. So Neymar currently not the fastest driver, but he doesn't need to be the fastest driver because he's got such a gap to the car behind. Speaking of the car
Ferrari
behind,
goes into the 51s. First driver into the 51s.
Now I'm just waiting for one person to go into the freaking 50s. It's Port.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for it. Going round the final corner as Bois retires from the session. That's in the pits. Oh, he doesn't go into the 50s.
Missing out by
That's
3/10. That's still the fastest lap.
To be fair, though, Ferrari nuts fastest lap with a 1:51.9. His was a 1:51.3. That's still
Yeah.
6/10. That's still a massive difference. But I would presume that maybe those super softs won't last to the end of this Grand Prix. As looking over the tires, I mean, they don't look terrible, but they don't exactly look neat and clean, especially considering Max Senna on the soft compounded tires, and those still look brand new. Being asked if I want a third wheel. Alright then. There's still no battles, man. Come on. Yeah, someone give me a safety car. Spice it up. I feel like Neymar would have the gap to pit underneath the safety car and still come out in the lead. Yellow flag. Is that for Feta? Yes, it is. Guess the track. He's inside of Itago right now. Okay, there we go. he was literally inside Itago. Now he's gonna try dive it on the inside. Not able to make the moves just yet, and we'll just have to stay in P8. So Feta now starting to make mistakes. And he actually has front wing damage. So there you go. Oh. Joel gets another 3-second time play. Oh, and Feta's in the wall. Lost traction out of that corner.
Yeah, he does not have a front wing at all, so I think he might.
Caught that.
Yeah, he might have to pit.
Well, he is pitting, so there you go.
Yeah, I'm thinking the smart thing to do now would be to try and go for the super softs. Oh, he retires in the pits.
About that. Yeah, so Feta has now retired from the session. That is his race done. That's going to gift Deer Hunter P9 in this race. Ron Swanson now up into the points. We have lost Ardell, DeBees, Bois, and Feta in this race. Lap 15 of 17. Right now, there's no chance of a safety car this time around, so I didn't get my wish. That's kind of sad. But we move. Neymar, though, with a just under a 10-second gap to Ferrari. Now, I would presume that he's just stretching his legs as of right now. He's vibing, needless to say. going to come across the line to start the penultimate lap in this Grand Prix. Though it's more laps, it feels like it's been shorter than the previous race due to the fact that we are on the softs now. And the super softs, still no one battling. It's kind of an easy Grand Prix as it stands for the time being. And that's exactly what Neymar wants in this. Ferrari currently sitting in P2. He lined up P5, and he has made moves when it counted, and will comfortably bring it home to another podium. Alphanesis, he won the sprint race marginally, and P3. That will be it. That will be what he will get for this race. Not been the best of days for Port, though, admittedly.
Yeah, I wonder if his tires are starting to fall off now.
Looking over at the tires, they don't exactly look the best. Oh wait, no, they do not look good. What am I saying? They do not look good. I can see a little bit of graining on the right front tire. We'll see if he can make it, but that is still a ways to go. Well, the question is though, is if Joel can make it, because he is on 5 lap super softs in this race. Looking over at his tire wear, oh yeah, that front right definitely not looking pretty whatsoever. Moving back over to the lead. Jace Freak actually spins off of the final corner, hits the wall, as he now gets lapped by Neymar. But we are on the final lap of this Grand Prix, and Neymar, he knows what he needs to do, and he has done it. All he needs to do is just bring it home. And right now, 9 seconds between him and Ferrari Nut. He is not low on fuel. It's just cruise control. Joel gets another 3-second time penalty in this race, as now, I think, 15 seconds. Nah, 12 seconds. That was close. Yellow flag, and that's actually Joel the wall, and he's out. So we have now lost 5 drivers in this race, Joel being the last of them, unless Dave's Freak crashes, but I doubt he will. So that'll be it. And outside of Port's tires have definitely gone off, as he is no longer gaining on Max Senna and is now just losing time ever so much more. He went for the gamble. It did work out in his favor, making up a couple positions, but that is going to be it for his run, and will have to be P6 in this race. Going back over to the lead though, and Neymar, pole position. And, well, he made the moves count in the sprint race. Managed to just miss out on the win. But in the feature race, it was definitely a different story. He commanded this race from start to finish. He's going to come around the final 2 corners. It's been an absolutely dominant win for Neymar as he wins the feature race here in Singapore. Ferrari Nut is going to slot behind in P2, and that is another podium for the high-tech Alphanesis once again on the podium. Likewise in the Russia sprint race. In the feature race at Russia, won the sprint race here, and once again has to settle for a podium. Taylor Clan will finish in P4. Max Senna will finish in P5.
Sport spins across the line.
I think he did more than just spin. But he comes across the line in P6. D-Doggo staying silent, but got the points when he needs to, as he's going to come across the line in P7. But Meanfern's going to take it. No, he doesn't. Yes, he does. No, he doesn't. 300ths. Misses out on P7. Deer Hunter, who tried the alternate strategy like Unsighted Port did. It did not work out, but he still manages to grab 2 points to his name for P9. And Ron Swanson just trundles home to come across the line and finish the last points paying position. Days Freak just missing out. Well done. It's a very different one to what we had for this race. On center port gets the driver of the day yet again. I feel like I shouldn't be surprised by that. We move though. But Neymar, a dominant display here in the feature race. And he has taken the trophy in his hands that he just missed out in the sprint race. Ferrari Nut with the podium, once again showing what he's made of here in Formula 2. Alphanesis. Well, what is there to say about Alphanesis? Needless to say, he's just once again on the podium. 4th time in succession. Please give me the race results this time, so I don't have to scroll through that. Thank you! The 3 drivers that we will be talking to for interviews will be Ferrari Nut grabs 28 points in this race. Alphanesis, fastest lap, race win, grabs 32 points here tonight. Neymar grabbing a very high 41 points in this race, winning the feature race, just missing out on the win in the sprint race. Both on side of port and Taylor Clan not inside the top 3. I shall now invite drivers for interviews. But going over the feature race results, Neymar, a dominant display here in Singapore, wins by 9.7 seconds. For another podium for him. Alphanesis once again on the podium, 4th time in a row. Taylor Clan P4, Max Senna, great points haul for him. P5, unsighted port, P6, ahead of G-Doggo, Mean Fern in P8, Deer Hunter P9, Ron P10, that's Days Freak, rounding off the runners. That's Joel GP, Veta, Bois, Dabiz, and Ardell, the 5 retirees in this Grand Prix. Bleh. I think everyone's already... Wow, that was the fastest that's ever happened. Thank you. God. About time. All right. I'm about to go over to the showroom real quick. So, why don't you start us off, Carbon, with I've already forgot. Oi. I've already... It's Ferrari Nut, I think, right?
Yeah.
Ferrari P3.
Yeah, so...
Okay, yeah. So, start it off with Ferrari Nut.
Yeah, Ferrari Nut, you ran an absolutely great weekend. Consistent results, consistent pace. What are your thoughts on the race and how you drove, pretty much?
Well, the sprint race, I kind of really just was dodging people, to be honest. I lost a spot to Taylor early in the race because I think on lap 1 down at the end of the first DRS straight, 2 people in front of me smacked into each other and spun, and I had to go right through the middle of it, and amazingly didn't hit anything. And I was just crawling coming out of that, and he just got by me. And then it started to dry up a little bit. I made a bit of a mistake, and Alphanesis got in front of me, and that was that. He was off in the distance, and I wasn't going to get that back. But just trying to be consistent, keep it out of the wall, and I did have a little moment there. One time at the end of that little funky short straight, right before the where the old sling chicane used to be, there's that little bit of the wall that just sticks out on the right-hand side for some odd reason. Right before you are really needing to turn into the corner, and I just nicked that, and I had a bit of a heart attack because the whole car just lurched to the left. I'm sure Neymar saw it. I think he was behind me at the time, but it's like I was wondering a bit how I didn't die there, but I wasn't going to argue with it. And yeah, that was kind of just the story of the sprint race for me, was just dodging everything and somehow miraculously not dying in that moment. And the feature race was just, well, was a bit. I don't really know what to say about that. It was kind of humdrum and normal because Neymar was so far off in the distance I couldn't do anything with him, and Alphanesis was behind me, but not really able to catch me. So I was just kind of an island.
May have been an island, but I mean, it was an island that gave you podiums, and ideally more points in your championship. But next race is going to be a very historic Grand Prix, and that is going to be the Japanese Grand Prix at Suzuka. What do you think of your chances going into that Grand Prix?
Ask anybody around here who has been around since season 1 like me. Japan is my hunting ground. Always has been. Always has been. I should have probably won there twice in Tier 1, but for some, well, extenuating circumstances and a certain driver who I'm teammates with not making mistakes. But we'll see how it pans out next week.
We'll definitely have to wait and see. But nonetheless, congratulations to you. More points on Taylor Klein of Port. I know you said that you were just running your race at this point, but still some crucial points to extend and to secure your place, I guess you could say, in P3. But we're now going to move on to the sprint race winner by the very small margin, and grabbed a podium once again in the feature race. Likewise he did in Russia, and it's Alphanesis. Now, you definitely showed that you had the pace yet again, as you did in Russia, grabbing that win in the sprint race by this very, very small margin. Then, in the feature race, you bogged down at the start, but you managed to make up for it and grab a podium. What were your thoughts on both those races? I'm going to ask the same question that I did to Farina as well. Next week, we go over to Suzuka for the Japanese Grand Prix. How do you think you'll fare around that twisty circuit? Carbon, do you have any questions to Alphanesis?
What was going through your head the final lap of the first race? Just trying to stay 3 seconds ahead of Neymar. Is there anything you wanted more from that race, or?
Yeah, but nonetheless, you still managed to grab that win in the sprint race. And once again, like you said, another podium in the feature race. So well done to you. We're going to move on now to a very dominant performance from Neymar. Now, the sprint race. You started 10th, and you made your way up to 2nd, just missing out on the win. But you still managed to grab P2. But the feature race, an absolutely dominant performance. You were a class ahead of the rest. How did you feel after getting that absolutely dominant win in the feature race?
Yeah, the feature race, I was like in the zone, just doing TT laps over and over again. I knew when Taylor, I think he made a mistake, and I started pulling away by about like 7/10 of laps, so I was kind of like going, and the dry happened. I wasn't that good in the dry, I'll be honest. Friday would have caught me. It was a 100% race, to be honest.
Well, luckily you had enough of a gap and just enough laps to stay ahead by just under 10 seconds. But I'm gonna ask the same question as I did for those two. Next week, Japan. How do you think you'll do around there?
I usually go pretty good at Japan. But I'll race Ferrari there a bunch of times in F2 cars, and he's very quick, so I'll probably be chasing him and Port. So, but I'll try to win. I'll try.
Well, that is definitely something you'll try. Carbon, do you have any questions to Neymar?
No, I don't.
All right, with that, then that's gonna wrap up podium interviews here for Formula 2 tonight, and that is gonna be everything for racing action. But be sure to tune in tomorrow for the realistic tier at 8 p.m. EST. Then on Friday, we got Tier 3 and Tier 4. Saturday, Tier 1 and Tier 2, all racing around the Singapore Grand Prix. And that is going to be a very long but very exciting Grand Prix for all those drivers. Then on Sunday, we've got ACC for Round 7. Tier 1 on Sunday. Then it is Tier 2. On Monday. Then next week, we go around all again to the Japanese Grand Prix at Suzuka. But from Carbon and I, that is going to be everything. And good day, or good night.